Welcome back to the Dennis Prager Show. I'll announce when we cross 450,000 names. Remember, it's now per person, not per computer. So if you have other people in your home who didn't sign on it, look, if you don't fight back, the government takeover. I love this option. The option here is the option. You can get something for free, or you can pay for it. I think I'll pay for it. And if what I read to you yesterday, a lot of you picked up on it as I checked my email. Who noted that? Yes, Investors Business Daily on page 16 or so, the very first pages, was that you won't be able, huh? Yeah, the first pages of the bill. Yeah, first pages of the bill. You won't be able to enroll in a private one after the law is passed. You can stay in one if you're already there. That is health care plan. And I read to you now the bankruptcy issue. The notion of the state taking care of me is beautifully represented in the following clip and the following excerpt that I want you to hear. This was on MSNBC's morning show today. Who was Dr. Nancy Snyderman? It was yesterday. Who was Dr. Nancy Snyderman? Anyway, she was on the show, and it is about a subject that I consider to be a classic example of what has been called liberal fascism, and it doesn't mean Nazism. This is a common horrible misconception that all fascism is the same as Nazism. Nazism was a unique evil. And not that fascism is not evil, but there are fascisms that are not even close to Nazism in terms of the evil that they have done. Liberal fascism is where the state will direct people against their will because it knows better for them. And this is exactly what is being done. Tobacco, to me, is the finest example. And listen to this about the troops. This was on MSNBC yesterday.
And following up on a story from yesterday, the Pentagon says it has no plans to ban smoking.
Amen.
By U.S. troops.
Amen.
And Nancy, you should have seen the gang up on me yesterday.
Well, let me tell you, Mika, today at 2 o'clock, I will walk in the front door of the Veterans Administration Hospital in Philadelphia. Wow. I will walk through a wall of cigarette smoke to go see patients who've been diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
You tell me.
Okay.
You tell me.
Thank you.
This is crazy.
I agree.
To back off. If you love American servicemen and women, then you know what? Step up to the plate and get cigarettes out of their lives.
Thank you.
At least they would give a damn enough to change policy.
Well,
okay.
Julie and I do care.
Feel better.
The interesting thing was the two men were opposed and the two women were for. There were two men there, if I'm not mistaken, or at least one man with two different voices. There were two possibilities. I opt for the former. And I think it doesn't matter. The male or males were opposed. The females were for the government telling the troops whether or not they can smoke. It is the feminization of society. It's interesting. The bigger the state is more of a feminization of society. The American patriarchal, if you will, whatever it is that has been denounced as awful, vile, sexist, anything to do with masculine values is just over the top, is a form of either benign or malignant machismo. All of this is what your kids were taught, and you were taught at college. But in fact, it comes with a lot of good things, the masculine macro, and that is the state that lets you grow up. Moms are less likely to push that kids grow up than dads. This is a generalization, which, needless to say, has many exceptions. But the general trend of humanity is mother's mother. That's why I am convinced that it's not a coincidence that the word smother is mother with an S. We don't say you were smothered, we say you were smothered. I don't think, it may be coincidental, I don't know. And the smothering of people is more of the feminine variety. That's why it's good to have a mom and a dad. because then you get input from both sides of the human spectrum. We love our troops. This was classic. If you love our troops, you will forbid them from smoking. Right? How do you love someone? By controlling their life. Tell me something. In all the cases that you know in your lives, my dear listener, whether you're liberal or conservative, if you have a parent who is more likely to want to control the life of the child, is it the dad or the mother? I would bet my studio that it is far more common for mothers to try to control the lives of their children, boy or girl, man or woman, than it is for men to. And what we have had in our society, in the feminization of society, which is what the left does, it feminizes society. It is part of that spectrum of human tendencies. The left is the feminizing movement. Compassion. What is its big word? Compassion. What's the big word of the masculine side? The right side. Standards. No, there are standards that we have to keep. We have to keep a definition of marriage. No, says the more feminized side, we have to have compassion for gays, which I totally agree with, by the way, but I think you have compassion and standards at the same time. Not getting onto that issue, this is what you're having, whether it is health care or whether it is the cigarettes, tobacco. So you're allowed to go and risk your life and get blown up, but you can't have a cigarette.
You mind if I don't smoke?
Because we love you. We will force our ideas down your throats because we love you. That is the motto of the left in all societies. 1-8-PRAGER-776.